Welcome to episode 18 of AI Solutions, the pathway to profit. Today, we're tackling a topic that's a constant source of anxiety for any modern business, the customer contact center. We're calling this AI-powered customer service, the future of the contact center. But let's be direct. This isn't about the future. It's about survival right now. Your customers and mine have been trained by the best in the business to expect instant, personalized support. The bar is incredibly high. Yet at the same time, every leader I talk to is under immense pressure to reduce operational costs. It's the ultimate business paradox. So what I want to do today is show you how to break out of that trap. We'll explore how AI isn't just about chatbots that frustrate people. It's about transforming your biggest cost center into a strategic asset that actually builds loyalty and drives growth. So, before we jump to the shiny new tech, let's get real about the mess we're trying to clean up. When I consult with companies, the first thing I do is sit and listen to their contact center calls. And what I hear consistently is a system designed for mutual frustration. On one side, you have customers stuck in endless queues, repeating their story to 3 different agents. On the other, you have good people burning out because 80% of their day is spent answering the same 5 repetitive questions. I worked with an e-commerce client whose agent turnover was so high, they were basically a training facility for their competitors. Every holiday season was a predictable disaster. They'd throw temporary staff at the problem, service quality would plummet, and customer satisfaction scores would crater. You might find that your own center looks a lot like this. It's a model that's not just broken, it's unsustainable. It actively damages your brand with every single interaction. So how did we first try to fix this mess? We brought in the robots, not the smart ones we have now, but their clumsy ancestors, rule-based chatbots, and those infuriating IVR systems where you listen carefully as our menu options have recently changed. The promise on paper was fantastic, 24/7 availability, and deflecting simple questions to cut costs. But what I see in practice is that we often created a new kind of digital hell for our customers. These systems were essentially glorified flowcharts. If your problem didn't fit perfectly into their pre-programmed script, you were stuck. You'd ask a slightly complex question, and it would just repeat, "I'm sorry, I don't understand that." It created the dreaded agent request loop, where the user just keeps trying to break out to talk to a person, getting more and more frustrated with every failed attempt. By the time they reached a human, they were already furious. All right, so those old systems were a dead end. Now, let's talk about the real revolution, generative AI. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a complete paradigm shift. What I tell my clients is to stop thinking about chatbots and start thinking about reasoning engines. The difference is night and day. Your old bot was a rigid flowchart. It couldn't deviate. If a customer said, "My delivery is late and I'm really upset," it would only hear "delivery is late" and completely ignore the frustration. These new models, however, understand natural language, context, and crucially, sentiment. They can follow a complex multi-step conversation just like a human. They can solve a problem like, "My subscription renewed, but I wanted to use a different credit card. Can you fix that and send the updated invoice?" That's not an FAQ. That's a real problem. And for the first time, AI can actually solve it without just screaming for an agent. So, where do you start with this powerful new tool? What I tell every client is to think of it as building an intelligent front door for their entire service operation. Every single query, whether it's a call, an email, or a chat, It's this AI first. Its job isn't to be a gatekeeper. Its job is to be an immediate problem solver. And frankly, it's brilliant at it. All that low value, high volume noise that clogs your queues, gone. Where's my package? I need a password reset. Can you explain your return policy? What I consistently see is that a well-implemented AI front door can resolve 60, 70, even 80% of these routine requests on the spot. This isn't about hiding your agents. It's about respecting your customers' time and reserving your team's valuable expertise for issues that truly need it. Now, this is where the conversation gets really interesting, because the biggest fear I hear is that AI is coming to replace agents. That's the wrong way to look at it. And frankly, it's a lazy take. What I push my clients to focus on is not replacement, but augmentation. I call it the agent co-pilot. Think of it as giving every single one of your people a real-time assistant. A customer starts getting frustrated. Before the agent even fully registers the shift in tone, the AI flags it on their screen. They ask a tricky question about a 5-year-old product warranty. Instead of putting the customer on hold to search, the AI instantly surfaces the exact answer. And at the end of the call, it writes a perfect summary automatically, eliminating after-call work. You'll find this makes your team not just faster, but more consistent and confident. They get to focus on empathy and real problem solving because the AI is handling all the digital grunt work. Okay, this is where we move from just being efficient to being brilliant. I'm talking about hyper-personalization at scale. Frankly, most companies are terrible at this. Your systems have amnesia. A customer calls for the 4th time, and you treat them like a total stranger. What I like to see is AI being used as the company's long-term memory. It synthesizes a customer's entire history in a split second. Past purchases, previous support tickets, even the products they looked at on your website last week. Now, instead of a generic greeting, you get something powerful. Let's say a high-value customer with a recurring technical issue chats in. The AI doesn't put them in a queue. It instantly recognizes them and says, I see this is the 3rd time you've contacted us about the X100's power unit. I am immediately routing you to a senior hardware technician, and I've been pre-authorized to add a $50 service credit to your account for the inconvenience. That's not just support. That's anticipating a need and demonstrating that you actually value their business. All right, let's talk about the real gold mine here, because this is where most companies are completely flying blind. For decades, what did we do for market research? We sampled maybe 1% of calls and hoped we found a trend. It was a guessing game. What I like to see now is AI analyzing 100% of your customer interactions. Every call, every chat, every email. It's not just looking for keywords, it's spotting patterns in real time. I had a client, a consumer electronics firm, who launched a new smartwatch. Sales started strong, then dipped. The marketing team was about to spend a fortune on focus groups, but the AI had already found the problem by analyzing support transcripts. A specific phrase, battery drains after update, was spiking. They pushed a software patch in 48 hours. That's the pivot. Your contact center stops being a cost center and becomes your most valuable, real-time source of business intelligence. Okay, this all sounds impressive, but let's not pretend you can just flip a switch. The implementation is where this gets messy, and frankly, where most people fail. What I always tell my clients is that your AI is only as smart as the data you feed it. If your knowledge base is a mess of outdated articles, your AI will confidently give customers wrong answers. We call these hallucinations, and they are poison to customer trust. This is why you absolutely must have a human in the loop. There needs to be a seamless, immediate way for a customer to escalate to a person. No exceptions. Then you've got the ethical minefield. You have to be militant about data privacy, GDPR, CCPA, the works. And you need a policy on transparency. My take? Be upfront. Trying to trick a customer into thinking they're talking to a human almost always backfires. Just a simple, "Hi, I'm the digital assistant," builds more trust than any clever deception. Let me give you a concrete example. So this isn't just theory. I was working with a mid-sized e-commerce company selling high-end kitchenware. Their situation was classic. During any sales event, their average customer wait time ballooned to over 8 minutes. People were furious before they even spoke to anyone, and their CSAT scores were, frankly, in the toilet. So what we did was implement a two-pronged approach. We built that intelligent front door to handle all the simple, repetitive questions. Then, we gave every single agent an AI co-pilot to assist them in real time. The results was stunning. Within 3 months, wait times were under 60 seconds. The AI resolved 70% of queries without human help. But here's the part I really like to see. Their agents were happier. They weren't just resetting passwords. They were solving complex shipping issues and advising customers. Their work finally had meaning, and their job satisfaction shot up. So, if all that is what's happening right now, where are we headed? What I'm pushing my clients to think about is the shift from a reactive to a proactive model. For decades, customer service has been about waiting for something to break, then trying to fix it. The end game is to solve the problem before your customer even knows it exists. Think about it this way. Your logistics system flags that a delivery truck has broken down. Right now, you just brace for 100 angry phone calls. The future I see is where your AI instantly identifies the affected customers and proactively sends each one a personalized text. "Hi Sarah, quick heads up, your delivery is delayed by a day. We apologize. Here's a new tracking link and a $10 voucher for the trouble." You've just transformed a total system failure into a moment that actually builds trust. So let's bring this all together. What I hope you're taking away is that this isn't science fiction anymore. AI is fundamentally changing the economics and the impact of the contact center. We're moving from a costly, frustrating necessity to a strategic asset. The key is to see it through the right lens. It's about efficiency, yes, using an intelligent front door to instantly solve the simple stuff. It's about creating personalized experiences that build real loyalty. But what I always stress is that the real prize is empowering your agents. The goal isn't to replace them, it's to augment them, to take the robotic work off their plate so they can handle the high-value human interactions. So you see the potential, but how do you actually build the team to make it happen? That's our next conversation. Join me for the next episode, Hiring Your AI Team, the 3 roles you absolutely need. We'll break down exactly who you need to bring this vision to life. If you find this information useful, we would really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe this channel to help others find us. If there are subjects you would like covered, please add in the comment section, and we will include it in future episodes. Thanks for watching.